Well, mostly I think Deja Vu speaks for itself, but it does add more context to the lore, making this a good place to explain some things. First off, that connection I mentioned earlier between the ATEEZ and the holotees. They mention being able to feel the holotees' breath, and wonder if the reverse is also true. Interestingly, this exact subject will come up again later, so I think they mean this somewhat literally. I think the ATEEZ and holotees can feel each other. I think the Cromer connected them, and that's why they can communicate through dreams and sense each other, which would also answer a question you may have had since the beginning of the story. How did the holotees know the ATEEZ were out there in the first place? If they sensed them through the Cromer, that would explain it. Secondly, this feels like a good time to mention colors. The colors red and blue pop up a lot in the ATEEZ' lyrics, and each color corresponds to one of the groups. Red corresponds to the ATEEZ, and represents things like passion and desire. Blue corresponds to the holotees, and represents things like freedom and hope, though worth noting that both sides have some of both colors in them. This also brings me to the bluebird, which is one of the most important symbols in ATEEZ lore. It represents the message of the holotees and the resistance in general, and sense offenders, people who have regained emotion, wear blue capes is something of a nod to it. The bluebird will show up more later, so it's worth keeping in mind. Back to the present story. In the clip at the end, you see Yosong and the broken Cromer, which leads us to the conclusion of the Fever Diaries.